Howdy, folks. Welcome to the channel. I'm Don. Welcome to 2026. It's January 2nd. Today I'm recording and posting this, so I hope your 2026 is wonderful. I have a gift request of Jan Howard. It's been a while since I've done her, a reaction to one of her songs, but I remember the first time I reacted to her, I didn't know if maybe she would say Swedish or Scandinavian in some way or Dutch, in which case you'd say Jan Howard. But it's Jan Howard. Remember the good. I love the title of that because that sets things in balance. Most people, and this is not just guesswork on my behalf, this is actually proven or demonstrated through so many experiments, tests, studies, and so on, like thousands of them, that people are more oriented toward avoiding pain than they are toward gaining happiness. And so that plays out in the way we view things. People tend towards seeing the negative without knowing that we're oriented that way, part of survival instincts and yada, yada, yada. But to be like a better, more in peace, to have more peace, you've got to see the good. If you're going to be in balance, like my yoga teacher used to say, if you're going to believe the bad things about yourself, you got to be willing to see the good things about yourself and believe them. Well, anyway, remember the good will help keep us in balance, will help make us more socially, likable. So anyway, Eliyahs Romans made a gift to the channel for me to do this one. So Eliyahs, thank you. I'm already off and running just with that title alone. So thank you, Eliyahs. Here we go.
And I'd like to do this song because the title of it is one that I try to live by.
There you go.
Like no matter what happens in your life, you should always remember the good. Yes, I suppose at times I think about him. He was once so much a part of me. Heaven knows I've learned to live without him. Though hell it was at times, it was a painful memory. But for all it matters now, if it does. For all that tried to be, but never was. And for all the times I've tried, I wouldn't change it if I could. For all he meant to me, I'll remember the good.
That's awesome.
I'll forget the bad. All the good times we had won't make me quite so sad when I'm remembering. And
right on.
All the times I've cried, I wouldn't change it if I could. For all he meant to me, I'll remember the good. For all he meant to me, I'll remember the good. Yes, I will.
Yeah, Jan.
Thank you.
I don't know who wrote that. In one sense, it doesn't matter. She certainly made it her own right there, because when you have an older person singing and they've got that little quiveriness in their voice due to age, it imparts a certain, it creates an impact that's just different than, a younger person, because it's the voice of wisdom that younger folks crave, whether they fight it or not. I mean, when we're younger, we have our own ideas about the way things work, but crave that understanding because we could see where life might go for us. And this kind of advice here, I mean, I know that I'm divorced, and I mean, the divorce, the functional, if you will, part of it was 20 years ago. So, yeah, you can look back and you can even laugh about things, but I was not going to bash, my ex. And even though there were things that she had done or said or did or didn't do that I did not like whatsoever, that was not the sum total of who she was. And my perspective is that, like, I'm always going to honor the fact that I loved this person, and I'm just using me as an example here, but it can apply to you as well. And I speak to, if there's a younger crowd watching, to see where life can go, or if you're tormented right now by a divorce or a breakup, it might shed some additional perspective on things. But I was not going to go down that path where the only thing I saw in this person I chose to marry, to be with, and she chose me, at least for a time, was or is negative. That's just not true. It's not honest. It's not fair. It's not fair to her, but it's not fair to me. And I'm not the sum total of someone else's negative thoughts either. It works both ways. So I think this is the first song that I've heard that actually touches on this subject so directly or at all. Because so frequently, Carrie Underwood's Before He Cheats and all that, you hear the negative side, and it's kind of like you go to the extremes in songs or in media just because that's what might get attention. Very rarely does vanilla get a lot of coverage. You need that peppermint twist with sprinkles on it. That gets the coverage. But being fair-minded, that's what this song is. You can remember the negative, the things that hurt. It helps you see sort of the truth, or at least the truth as you lived it. There are things that didn't work for you, which is why the relationship broke up. And there are things that did, which is why it hurt when it did break. You'd hoped. And one of the things that people lose sight of when a relationship breaks up and they just see the negative in the others, and I know as a life coach who've worked with people who've gotten divorced or just didn't get married but had a very painful breakup, one of the things that happens is they just see the negative because that's the most recent event in their mind. But it's important to remember, it's helpful, it's healthy to remember that there's a reason you chose that person in the first place and you wanted it to work. There are tens and hundreds of thousands and millions of other, for a guy, for women, or a woman for, choosing a guy that you didn't pick, that didn't make the cut. Coming in second in the Super Bowl, for example, is still a hell of an accomplishment. You wanted to be the champs, but you're still considered to be like the second best team. As disappointing as it is, when you don't win that Super Bowl, you make it that far. It's still, you had a hell of a ride, way better than others. And in a sense, in a relationship, though it's not a perfect analogy, when let's say you get married to somebody and then you get divorced, yeah, there are things that are being done in that incubator, in those tight quarters that did not work, but that's not the sum total of what took place. Eliah's hell of a song. I loved her voice. I love the piano accompaniment on this one. The sheriff was in this thing as well. And I think, too, there are people in that room who, of course, are artists, but they hear songs the same way we do frequently. Like, they can lose themselves in their professional way, like, oh, I would have brought this instrument in or let that one out, or I wouldn't have mixed it that way, or whatever they might be thinking. But for the most part, professional musicians hear songs the same way we do. They hear words the same way those who are not professionals, who are not in the business, who are not cutting record deals, hear songs. It resonates with them. There are people in that room that heard her sing that song, probably for the first time. And guess what? They were impacted by it. They're like, oh gosh, I am guilty of not seeing my ex, because some of the folks in there are divorced several times. Seeing them negatively. And you don't have to see a rainbow all the time about the other person. You don't have to pretend that they were this wonderful thing and that we're still friends and it's all great. I mean, that also is, that's not truthful. But to only see the negative is out of balance. Anyway, Eliyahs, I loved it. I'm going to rate this. And the number that popped into my head was a 9.4. I'm so glad to have experienced this song. I'm not going to put it in the premarital counseling playlist. An argument could be made, but it would be a little bit strained, I think. So I'm going to not do that, but I'm so glad somebody covered this topic the way she did, and that she's, a woman of wisdom and advanced age who sang it. All right, guys, you can thank Eliyahs Romans for that one. Remember the good. Have a wonderful day. I'll see you on another video and keep rocking the country.
All the good times we had won't make me quite so sad.